He woke up that morning with a weird vibe in the air, like the whole world outside his window was holding its breath and waiting for him. To open his eyes, the sunlight leaking through the blinds fell off a little too bright, a little too sharp, and the room felt strangely quiet, like nature had muted itself just for him. He sat up, rubbing his face, thinking maybe he was just half asleep, but deep down something in his gut whispered that today was not going to be a normal chill day. He grabbed his hoodie, slipped on his sneakers, and walked out with his half-cold coffee in hand. He didn't even make it 3 steps before his jaw dropped. The entire ground around his house had changed overnight. A giant trench circled every corner of his property. Deep and wide, like some construction crew had gone beast mode. While the whole world slept, he blinked twice, thinking maybe he was imagining stuff. But nope, it was real as hell. The dirt was piled high, the edges clean smooth like professionals had carved it with fancy gear. This wasn't some random prank. This wasn't kids messing around. This was planned, organized, and way too damn precise. He walked closer, his heart thumping heavy, like his body already knew something was wrong before his mind caught up. The trench was deep enough for someone to disappear inside. It was like someone wanted to trap him in, or maybe keep something out. Either way, it felt shady as hell. He kept glancing around, expecting someone to come out and say, "Oh, hey bro, surprise," but the street was quiet, almost too quiet. Nobody mowing lawns, nobody walking dogs, nobody pretending they didn't know what was going on. The houses around him felt like they were staring right back at him, blinds shaking just a little, shadows moving inside windows like neighbors were peeking but didn't want to get caught. The weirdest part was how everyone acted like they had nothing to do with it, like the whole neighborhood made a silent pact not to talk about the giant hole around his home. Every house around him looked normal, fences clean, gardens fresh, but all eyes were aimed at him, like he was the problem, like he was the outsider in his own damn neighborhood. He couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching him, not from far away, but close, real close, like eyes on him from every direction. Then the HOA president rolled by in his shiny SUV, driving slow, like someone creeping past a crime scene. He didn't even wave, which was weird because that guy normally acted like the mayor of the universe, always smiling, always talking, always pretending he ran everything. But today, he kept his eyes forward, hands tight on the wheel, his lips pressed together, like he was hiding a secret and scared it might slip if he opened his mouth for even 1 second. The SUV crawled past the trench, then sped up as soon as he turned the corner, making it even sketchier than before. He moved along the edge of the trench, careful not to fall on the ground. Still damp, like the digging had been done just hours ago. He bent down, swiping his fingers through the dirt, feeling how fresh it was, like the team had been here before sunrise, maybe even in the middle of the night. He checked for footprints or tire marks, but whoever did this was clean too. Clean, no trash, no tools left behind, no sloppy work. It was almost military level precise, which made him swallow hard, because who the hell digs around a random house with that much skill and silence? He kept walking around the trench, studying every detail, and that's when he saw them weird symbols spray painted in bright neon colors on the ground, lines, arrows, circles with markings he had never seen before. They weren't the usual construction signs. These looked like codes or signals. He traced one with his hand, trying to figure out what it meant, but his brain couldn't even guess. It made him feel even more uneasy, like this wasn't just about digging. Maybe they were searching for something. Maybe they found something, and whatever that something was, it sure as hell didn't belong in a normal suburban neighborhood. He stepped back, looking at his house, suddenly feeling small, like his home was sitting on top of something big. Something nobody told him about. He looked back at the neighbors again, all pretending not to stare, except now he could see small movements, blinds lifting an inch, someone backing away from a window, someone else ducking like they didn't want to be seen. It was creepy as hell, like everyone knew the truth, but wanted him to be the last one to find out. His phone buzzed, and for a split second, he thought it might be the HOA sending an explanation, but nope, nothing, not a single email or text about the construction or any kind of warning. He checked the HOA site, nothing there either, like the trench never existed. The silence made everything worse, like everyone was in on the secret except him, the outsider in his own yard. He took a deep breath, trying to calm himself, but his mind was running wild, thinking about everything that could have gone down last night. He tried to imagine heavy machines in the dark, the sound of digging, the lights, but he didn't remember hearing anything at all. There was no noise, nothing woke him. The whole operation must have been silent, which was impossible, but clearly it happened anyway, and that's when it hit him. If the whole thing happened quiet as a mouse and nobody wanted to talk about it, then it wasn't meant for him to know. He turned around and walked back toward the house feeling every hair on his neck stand straight. The air felt heavier, like the whole neighborhood was waiting for his next move. He pulled out his keys then. Paused staring at his front door. He remembered something. He almost forgot. He had set up hidden cameras all over his property. Tiny ones nobody knew about, not even the HOA ones he installed himself, when he realized how shady the neighborhood could be sometimes, and right now those cameras were the only truth he could trust. He stepped inside, locked the door behind him, and leaned against it for a moment. He felt the silence around him like the house itself was scared. Then he walked straight to his office because whatever happened last night, his cameras caught it. And he knew one thing for sure: the HOA had no clue. He had eyes on every corner of his property. He sat down, turned on his laptop, and whispered to himself, "This is about to get real damn interesting." He sat there for a minute, letting the trench madness settle in his mind, trying to make sense of how the hell something that huge could appear overnight. Without anyone saying a word, he grabbed his phone again, this time calling the HOA directly. Because if anyone knew what was going on, it had to be them. The phone rang slow, like it didn't even want to connect. Then finally, the usual HOA line picked up with that fake, cheerful voice. They always used a voice that felt like plastic, he explained the situation, trying to keep calm. But inside, he was boiling and confused. The lady on the phone listened, then said something that made his stomach drop. She said they had no record of any construction, no orders, no work requests, no warnings sent out, nothing at all, like the trench had magically popped out of the ground on its own. He knew, damn. While she was lying, her voice cracked a little, like she was reading off a script, and scared she might screw up, he asked again, pressing her harder. But she kept dodging every question, saying she'd call back later, saying she'd check with the team, saying maybe he was mistaken. Her words were smooth, but her tone was shaky, like she was hiding something big that she wasn't allowed to tell him. He hung up, not believing a single thing she said, and stepped outside again, staring at the trench like it was some kind of message left for him, something he wasn't meant to understand yet. While walking around it, he noticed something else. Thin lines in the dirt leading from the trench straight toward his foundation, like the workers were following some underground path or signal. The markings weren't random. They were organized, like someone was mapping something beneath his house that he didn't even know existed. He crouched down, tracing the lines with his hand, feeling a chill run down his spine, because none of this felt like HOA business. This felt like government-level shady ops or some secret crew doing stuff at night that no one in the neighborhood was supposed to see. He looked up suddenly, noticing movement from the corner. How's an old lady who always pretended she hated drama was standing behind her curtains, but this time she wasn't hiding. She was straight up, staring at him with wide eyes, like she knew something he didn't like. She wanted to warn him, but couldn't. And the moment he made eye contact, she backed away, quick, like she got caught doing something illegal. He could feel the entire neighborhood watching him without saying a damn word, like they all had some secret group chat where they talked about this trench, but didn't include him in it. Then out of nowhere, the HOA president pulled up again, same SUV, same fake smile, but this time he got out of the car, walking toward him with that annoying, confident walk, like he owned the whole block. Except today, his confidence looked forced. He kept glancing at the trench like it made him nervous, like he wasn't supposed to be near it. He started talking fast, throwing out excuse after excuse, saying maybe a utility team made a mistake, maybe a contractor dug the wrong house, maybe the city got confused, but every excuse he made sounded dumber than the last, and he kept avoiding eye contact, like his eyes might spill the truth if he looked too long. The homeowner asked him straight up why the HOA told him they knew nothing, why no one warned him, and why the trench looked way too professional to be an accident. The president swallowed hard, his Adam's apple jumping, like he wasn't ready for real questions. He kept saying, calm down, bro," but his hands were shaking, and his voice had that tiny crack that shows when someone is lying their ass off. He said they'd investigate it, but even that sounded rehearsed, like someone told him exactly what to say if the homeowner ever asked. Then the president slipped up just a little, but enough to make the whole situation 10 times more suspicious. He said, "Don't worry, we didn't think anything under your property would cause this." The word "we" hit the homeowner like a slap in the face, because it meant they already knew something was underneath his land, something they tried to pretend they didn't know 5 minutes ago. He stared at the president, the man's eyes wide, like he realized he screwed up big time. Then he tried to cover it up, saying, "Oh no, I meant the workers or the city or whoever," but the damage was done. The truth was out, even if the president Didn't want it to beta. HOA president left in a hurry, almost jogging back to his SUV, looking around like someone was watching him like he wasn't supposed to talk that much. The SUV peeled off faster than usual, leaving the street quiet again. The homeowner stood there feeling the air grow heavier like the neighborhood itself was trying to push him out of the truth. But he wasn't going anywhere. He looked at the trench, the symbols, the fresh dirt, all of it screaming that something deeper was going on, something underground, something hidden. And he knew damn well the HOA wasn't telling the truth. He walked back inside his house, locking the door behind him, the silence pressing against his ears. He knew the HOA lied. He knew the neighbors knew something, and he knew the trench wasn't about construction or mistakes. This was bigger, and the only way to find out the truth was in the hidden cameras he placed around his house. Cameras nobody knew about. Cameras even the HOA couldn't touch. Whatever happened last night, he was about to see it all with his own eyes, and he could already feel the adrenaline kicking in, because deep down he knew this wasn't just some random trench. This was the start of something dark, and he was standing right in the middle of it. He moved through the hallway like someone walking in a dream, his heartbeat loud, his mind racing, because he knew whatever the HOA was hiding, his cameras had caught every damn second of it. He reached his office chair, spun it around, and sat down, the leather creaking under him like it knew this moment was big. He opened his laptop, his fingers shaking, just a little, not from fear, but from that weird mix of excitement and dread, the kind you feel when you know the truth is about to smack you right in the face, whether you're ready or not. He clicked on the camera app, and the screen lit up with a grid of all his hidden angles, every one of them waiting like silent witnesses ready to talk. He took a deep breath and selected the night timeline, dragging the slider back to midnight. The whole screen went dark for a second, then slowly brightened into night vision, green and gray shapes moving in the shadows. He leaned forward, eyes locked on the footage. The street was empty, the neighborhood quiet. Then at exactly 2:13 a.m., everything changed. Headlights cut through the darkness, but they weren't normal headlights. These were low, bright, white, almost ghostly, the kind of lights tactical teams use to stay hidden but still see everything perfectly. The truck that pulled up had no logo, no plates, no markings, nothing, just a matte black vehicle that screamed, "This ain't normal work." He watched the doors open and men stepped out, not in regular construction clothes, but dark gear like they were trained for something serious. They moved with purpose, quick but silent, no wasted motion, like they had done this 100 times before. They spread out around the property, carrying weird tools, scanners, metal rods, and some high-tech gear he'd never seen in his life. One guy held a device that beeped every few seconds, and every time it beeped, he pointed it toward the ground near the foundation of the house, like he was scanning for something underground, something big, something hidden. The homeowner felt his throat tighten as he watched. He paused the video, zooming in on one of the men. The dude didn't look like a city worker or contractor. He looked like some off-the-books agent, someone who wouldn't blink twice before burying a secret forever. The man's face was half covered, but the eyes were sharp, focused, scanning everything around him like he expected trouble. The homeowner hit play again and watched the team start digging fast like they were racing time. He couldn't hear sound because the camera recorded silent, but he could see dirt flying, smooth teamwork, like they had a plan. They weren't digging at random. They were following markings they drew earlier, like they already knew exactly where to search. Then the moment that chilled him to his bones happened. The scanner guy stopped dead, the device in his hand glowing brighter. He waved another worker over and pointed to the exact spot near the basement wall. The footage showed them marking the area with neon paint, the same symbols the homeowner saw earlier, the same ones that made no damn sense. He felt his stomach drop as he kept watching, because whatever they were searching for, they had found it, or damn close to it. The workers dug harder, faster, the trench growing deeper every minute. They weren't messing around. One guy pulled out another device shaped like a long metal wand, waving it through the dirt, and every time it passed a certain point, the camera captured the faint glow from it, like something under the ground was reacting to it. It didn't look human. It didn't look normal at all. If anything, it looked like tech, far ahead of anything he'd ever seen in his life. Then he saw at the moment the entire team froze. One worker's shovel hit something solid, not rock, not pipe, something metal. He could tell the difference even through grainy footage. The worker knelt, brushing away dirt, his movements careful, like he had found something dangerous or valuable. Maybe both. Then he pulled out a metal box, small but heavy looking, covered in dirt like it had been buried for years, maybe decades, maybe longer. The team moved in tight, forming a circle around the box, blocking the camera's view. For a second, the homeowner leaned forward, trying to see everything. He hit zoom, trying to catch any detail, He could after a few seconds. One of the men lifted the box up, opening it slowly, like he was scared of what was inside. The camera angle was bad. The team was blocking most of it, but for one short moment the box tilted just enough for the camera to catch a flash of light blue, bright, soft, glowing, like something alive, something not from any hardware store in the world. The glow vanished fast like they shut the box quick on purpose. The men started talking fast with their hands moving in signals like military code. The homeowner didn't know what they were saying, but he could feel the tension through the screen. Something about that box freaked them out or shocked them, or maybe confirmed something they already suspected. They pulled out a black case, slid the metal box inside, and sealed it like it was radioactive or priceless or both. Then something even stranger happened. One of the men lifted his head and looked straight at the hidden camera, dead on, right into the lens, like he felt it, like he sensed it. The homeowner felt his chest tighten, like someone had just grabbed his lungs. The man stared for a long second, no blinking, no hesitation, just cold, sharp eyes staring through the screen, like he knew someone was watching, like he knew the homeowner would see this footage. And that look wasn't random, it was a warning. The team packed up fast, loading everything back into the truck. They covered the trench half-assed, like they weren't trying to hide it anymore. They weren't worried about neatness or cleanup, they just wanted out before sunrise. The truck backed up slowly, then drove off, the lights disappearing into the darkness, leaving the neighborhood quiet again like nothing ever happened. The homeowner leaned back in his chair, his hands gripping the armrests, his mind spinning like crazy, because this wasn't construction, this wasn't utilities, this wasn't anything close to normal. This was a secret operation, something big, something buried under his house long before he moved in. The HOA didn't know about the cameras, which meant they had no clue. He just caught the entire operation in crystal clear footage, a truth someone out there never wanted him to see, and now he had it all. He stared at the frozen frame of the man looking at the camera, his spine tingling, because that stare felt personal, like the man wasn't just seeing the camera. He was seeing him, and in that moment he knew one thing for sure: whatever they found last night, they weren't done with his house, they weren't done with him, and this story was just getting started. He sat there frozen, staring at the paused frame of the guy looking straight into the hidden camera, like he wasn't just spotting a lens, but calling him out personally. The room felt colder, even though the heater was on his chest, rising slow, heavy. Like his body was trying to catch up to the truth his brain was still trying to deny. He grabbed the mouse, hit play again, watching the moment right after the box was sealed. The team wasn't calm anymore, their movements sharper, their steps quicker. Like whatever they found wasn't supposed to be touched or seen or moved in the first place. They were acting like they woke something up and now needed to get the hell out before it woke up all the way. He replayed the part where the scanner guy's device started beeping faster. The footage showed the man kneeling again, pointing the scanner toward the basement wall, like he had missed something. The first time the device glowed brighter, a weird blue pulse, like it was syncing with whatever was underground. The men began arguing in hand signals, like one of them wanted to dig deeper, but the leader guy shook his head hard, like no way, not tonight, not here, not now. And the tension in their body language was loud, even without sound. The kind of tension that said this was bigger than them, bigger than any HOA problem, bigger than some random buried box. The homeowner leaned closer, noticing something he missed before. When the team dug deeper, the camera caught a quick flash of something under the dirt, a surface, not metal, not rock, but smooth like glass or something polished. The light reflected off it, even in night vision, for just a second. Then more dirt fell over it, covering it again. He paused, rewound, zoomed in, but the image was too grainy, too dark to fully make out. But the shape was there, curved like part of a bigger structure, something not small, something that didn't belong underground in a regular neighborhood, something man-made, or maybe not man-made at all. He felt a chill crawl down his arms as he thought about it. Because if the crew found a box and freaked out that badly, but didn't even reach whatever was beneath it, then that meant the box was just the beginning, not the real problem, not the real secret, just the tip of some underground mystery hiding under his damn house. The symbols on the ground suddenly made more sense. The way they scanned the dirt, the lines pointing toward the foundation, like they were tracking something that extended deeper, something ancient or advanced or classified. He didn't know which one, but none of the options made him feel any better. The footage showed the leader guy pulling out a radio, pressing it close to his mouth, and talking fast with short-clipped words. Even though there was no audio, the urgency was clear, his face tight, his eyes scanning left and right like he was scared someone was watching, someone besides the homeowner, someone bigger, someone dangerous. The other men kept digging a little more, but the leader waved them off, pushing them back like he didn't want them messing with the lower level of whatever they uncovered. The man with the metal wand tried scanning again, but the leader yanked him by the arm, pulling him away from. The spot, like touching the buried surface, was crossing a line they weren't trained or allowed to cross. The homeowner swallowed hard, because that reaction looked like fear, real fear, not the fake kind people show when they pretend to be scared. This was the kind that comes from knowing exactly what you just found and wishing you never found it at all. The team started packing up fast, but not in a clean, organized way like earlier. Now, they were sloppy, dropping tools, kicking dirt over the exposed edges, half covering things like they didn't care anymore. They just wanted out before sunrise, before someone higher up came asking questions, or before something under the ground responded to being disturbed. He watched the footage switch angles, the men carrying the black case with the glowing box inside, the way they handled it, careful but terrified, told him everything. This wasn't some treasure they were excited to find. This was a problem, something they didn't want to touch, but had to collect anyway. Maybe because they were ordered to, maybe because leaving it behind was worse, maybe because whatever was glowing inside that box wasn't safe, didn't look safe, didn't feel safe. Even through the damn screen, the team left the trench half open, the soil freshly torn up like a wound in the earth. The leader kept glancing back at the house like he expected something to move, something to break through the basement wall, like disturbing that underground thing might wake it up. He made the others hurry, shoving them toward the truck. The men looked nervous, looking everywhere but the trench, and that was the scariest part. They weren't looking at the box they took, they were looking at what they left behind. Like the box was just one piece, the rest still hiding under his house, still alive in some way, still waiting. The homeowner pressed pause again, staring at the trench in the footage, that same trench now sitting outside his window in real time, untouched, unfilled, open like an invitation or a warning. He thought back to the HOA president saying, "We didn't think anything under your property would cause this." The slip up, the panic, the shake in his voice. The man wasn't talking about the trench, he was talking about what was underneath the trench. The HOA knew something was under his home, maybe not everything, but enough to be scared, enough to hide it from him, enough to act like they were dealing with something out of their pay grade. He pushed back from his desk, breathing hard. The silence in the house, thick like the walls themselves, were holding a secret. His house wasn't just a house anymore. It was sitting on top of something buried, something people in black gear dug for at 2 in the morning, something glowing, something that scared professionals and made them run. And now that they disturbed it, he didn't know if it was still sleeping or awake. He didn't know if it was dangerous or just hidden. He didn't know if they took the important part or if the important part was still there under his feet, waiting. And for the first time since he woke up that morning, he felt something worse than fear. He felt watched, like whatever they dug up wasn't the only thing paying attention to him. Something beneath the dirt, something beneath his basement, something massive and quiet and aware, something that did not want to be found. He sat there for a long moment, staring at the paused footage. The glow burned into his mind, the trench outside, now feeling like a giant open mouth, ready to swallow him whole. He finally shut the laptop and walked to the kitchen, trying to breathe normal again, but every corner of the house felt different, like the walls were listening, like the floor under him wasn't solid anymore, more like a thin layer hiding whatever monster or machine or secret was sleeping below. He poured water, hands a little shaky, and told himself to chill, but his mind kept replaying the moment that guy looked into the camera, like he saw him, like he knew exactly who lived here and what he would do next. He stepped outside to get air, the cool breeze hitting him fast, but it didn't calm him down at all. The trench was still there, circling the house like a barrier or a warning. He walked the edges again, trying to think like the men in the footage, trying to figure out what the hell they wanted and why. They came back twice in one night, but before he could piece anything together, he heard a car engine creeping up slow, that familiar hum that made his jaw clench. The HOA president's SUV rolling around the corner like a guilty dog sneaking back to the scene. The president got out, the same fake smile stretched across his face, but cracked at the edges like it was barely holding on, his eyes darting around like he was scared someone else might be watching him, not the homeowner, but someone bigger, someone above him. His hands fiddled with his watch, his tie, his pockets, anything to avoid standing still. He walked toward the homeowner with that upbeat, neighborly voice, trying way too hard to sound chill and not at all like a man hiding a damn secret that could burn the whole neighborhood down. He said, "Hey buddy, heard you called earlier, everything all right?" And the homeowner just stared at him, giving him that look that said, "Cut the crap," because the president already knew why he Called the HOA ladies lie the trench the sudden panic. Everybody was acting like they were caught in something they couldn't talk about. The president's cheeks twitched like he was nervous under that friendly mask. He kept repeating the same lines like he was rehearsing some scripted answers, things like must be city workers, or probably a mix-up, or maybe old pipes underground. But every sentence came out more crooked than the last, like even he didn't believe the bull he was selling. Homeowner asked him directly why there were no notices, no warnings, nothing logged with the HOA, why the trench looked too pro to be a mistake, why the markings looked like codes, not construction prep, why the neighbors were acting weird, and why. The HOA lied on the phone. The president swallowed hard again, his throat bobbing like a frog, trying not to choke, his eyes flicking between the trench and the house, like he was expecting something to explode, or rise up, or move. He kept saying, trust me, but his voice shook like someone who trusted nobody, not even himself. Then it happened, the moment that confirmed everything, the slip up that cracked open the truth he never meant to say. The homeowner said, what the hell were they even digging for, man? And the HOA president sighed, stressed, rubbed his forehead, and muttered, we didn't know what was under your property. And the moment that word, we, left his mouth, his whole face froze. He realized he said too much. He realized he screwed up big time. He realized the homeowner caught it. Immediately the air around them changed, sharp, heavy. The wind even seemed to pause. The homeowner stepped closer, eyes locked on him, asking, what do you mean, we? What do you guys know? The president panicked fast, trying to cover himself, stuttering, mixing words, saying, no, I meant the city, I meant contractors, I meant someone else. But nothing he said lined up with the shaky tone, or scared eyes, or trembling hands. He was busted, and he knew it. He kept glancing at the trench now like it was a grave he accidentally dug for himself, like the truth down there was too dangerous for him to stand near, too dangerous for anyone to speak. The president suddenly got super nervous, looking around like someone might be listening in from the houses, from the street, maybe even underground. He lowered his voice, telling the homeowner he should delete any recordings if he had any, and that line made the homeowner's whole chest heat up, because the president didn't even know about the cameras, but his first instinct was to cover up evidence, not fix the problem, not report it, not investigate it, just erase it like they were all part of some secret mission gone wrong that nobody was supposed to witness. The homeowner didn't say a word, just stared, and the president took that as a threat, or maybe a warning. He backed up quick like he touched something hot, mumbling that he'd talked to the board, that everything was under control, that the homeowner shouldn't worry. But the dude couldn't hide his fear anymore. Every step back looked like a retreat, his face pale, his hands shaking, his eyes darting everywhere except into the trench, like whatever was down there scared him way more than the homeowner ever could. He rushed to his SUV, stumbling a little, almost dropping his keys, then peeling out of the driveway like he couldn't get away fast enough, like staying one more second meant danger, like something beneath that house had woken up, and he didn't want to be around when it decided to move. The sound of the engine faded, leaving the street quiet again, too quiet, that kind of chilling quiet that gets into your bones and makes you feel like something is crawling under your skin, something watching you from below. The homeowner stood alone next to the trench, the wind colder, now the sunlight dimmer, like the world itself was reacting to the truth. He just heard the truth. The president tried to hide the truth. The whole neighborhood seemed to fear something was under his house, something the team found, something they didn't want anyone to talk about, something the HOA definitely knew existed long before today. He felt it stronger than ever. This wasn't a random dig. This wasn't an accident. This was a cover-up, a hunt, a search for something buried deep. And whatever it was, they didn't find all of it, not yet. He walked back inside, slowly locking the door behind him, and the moment it clicked shut, the house felt even more alive. The floor beneath him almost humming, like something below was waiting, maybe listening, maybe waking up. And he knew the night crew would not be the last ones to show up, because once a secret gets uncovered, once something hidden is touched, the people who want it don't stop, and the people who fear it don't sleep. Whatever was left underground wasn't done with him, not even close. He stayed inside for hours, pacing around the living room like a trapped animal, his mind spinning nonstop, the HOA president's slip up echoing in his head over and over. Every time he tried to sit still, the house made some soft creak or low rumble, like the ground underneath was shifting, breathing, moving. He didn't know if it was his nerves or something real, but every noise made his heart jump, his body telling him something down there wasn't sleeping anymore. Something had felt the dig. Something had felt the men trying to reach it, and now it was aware of the house, the man, the cameras, maybe everything. The sky outside started turning orange, the sun going down slow and heavy, like the day itself didn't want to leave him alone with The dark, he checked the cameras again, zooming them toward the trench. Nothing was there, but the empty dirt ring, the symbols, the loose soil. But it didn't feel empty. It felt like the earth was holding its breath right along with him, waiting. He kept rewinding the footage of the men, the glow, the moment the guy stared right into the lens, each replay, making it feel more real, more threatening, more like a message meant just for him, his gut telling him the crew wasn't done, they would come back, because people who hide secrets don't leave loose ends. And he was a massive loose end. Night finally settled, and he turned on every light in the house, not caring if it looked paranoid. The shadows inside felt deeper than normal, the air heavier. He tried to drink water again, but even the glass felt cold in his hands, colder than before, like the temperature inside was dropping. Even though everything was switched on, he thought about calling someone, maybe the cops, maybe the city, maybe anyone. But who the hell was he supposed to tell that a team of secret night workers dug around his house for something glowing and maybe alien or military, and then bounced? He knew nobody would believe it, nobody except the men who wanted the footage wiped and the HOA who already slipped and exposed themselves. He was halfway back to his office when he heard it, footsteps outside, quiet, fast, precise, like the same men from the footage, not boots on gravel, but soft thuds like they were trying hard not to be heard. He rushed to the laptop, opened the camera feed, his breath catching in his chest. And there they were. He saw them clearly, half hidden behind the trench, moving slow around the property, their faces covered, this time masks, hoods, dark gear, their flashlights pointed down, not up, like they didn't want to be seen from the street, but were scanning for something close, something small, something like hidden cameras. His pulse sped up hard. He kept switching angles, watching them check the corners of his backyard, then the front porch. One of them pointed at the side of the house. Another one motioned toward the basement window, like he was saying, that's where it is, maybe that's where it's coming from, maybe that's where the thing under the dirt was reacting. He didn't know, but he could feel the fear rising in his throat, thick, heavy. Because this time, they weren't digging. This time, they were searching for surveillance. They were searching for evidence. They were searching for him. One man tapped another on the shoulder and pointed at one of the hidden cameras directly. The homeowner's blood ran cold, because that camera was tucked behind a vent, basically invisible, but somehow they found it. That meant they were trained to detect hidden surveillance. That meant they probably already knew he had more than one. That meant they weren't here to talk. They were here to remove every single piece of proof he had, and maybe shut up the one person who saw what they found. He backed away from the desk, whispering, "Oh hell no," because he knew exactly what he had to do. He grabbed the hard drive, he grabbed the laptop, he grabbed every backup device he had, and dragged them into one big folder, uploading all the footage, every angle, every second, every frame up to cloud storage. His fingers flying across the keyboard, the progress bar moving slow, too damn slow, each percent feeling like a countdown to something bad happening outside. He could hear faint whispers now outside the window, not clear, but low, sharp, urgent, the kind of whispering people do when they're planning, when they're positioning, when they're preparing for something. He saw shadows moving past the porch, light through the blinds. Tall, fast, coordinated flashlights hitting the windows, then quickly shifting away like they didn't want him to know how close they were. The upload hit 80%, 90, then finally 100. The moment it finished, he let out the breath he didn't know he'd been holding and grabbed his phone, switching to video mode with shaky hands. He walked outside the front door without hesitation, his heart pounding like a drum, but his voice steady. He was done hiding, done waiting, done being scared. He stepped onto the porch, holding the phone high, recording everything, the trench, the shadows, the men, freezing mid-step, like animals caught in headlights. He shouted loud, his voice echoing across the street, telling them straight up, "I already uploaded the footage online. If anything happens to me, the whole world sees it." And the moment those words hit the air, the men stopped dead. It was like time froze. None of them moved, none of them breathed, their bodies tense, their eyes locked on him. He couldn't see their faces, but he could feel the fear sliding through their masks like cold smoke. Not fear of him, but fear of exposure, fear of whoever they worked for, finding out they were seen, that the footage escaped, that the secret wasn't hidden anymore. One of them raised his hand, signaling to retreat. The others backed up, fast, no noise, no hesitation, like soldiers following orders to fall back. Now, now, now. They didn't even look at the trench this time, didn't look at the house. Didn't look at him, just turned and ran into the darkness, disappearing between houses like ghosts, dissolving into thin air. The neighborhood falling dead silent again, the wind, the trees, the lights, all still, like the world held its breath after a storm. He stood there in the cool night air, phone still recording, chest still tight, his whole world flipped upside down. But one thing clear as hell in his mind the moment they ran, he knew it wasn't over because people don't run unless there's something bigger behind them, something scarier, something that wasn't supposed to be touched, something buried deep under his house, something glowing, something dangerous, something that wanted to stay hidden, something that maybe wasn't done waking up yet. And whatever it was, every powerful hand involved in this mess now knew one thing: he had the footage, and he wasn't going down quiet.